mentioned that Muslims have a different idea of hospitality than we do. And with so many here in the West now, and people wanting to open up their homes, what do they need to be familiar with, and how they might, and I mean they, as in the Muslims, might expect your hospitality to be, and how do you try to diffuse that? Because those expectations can lead to some awkward encounters. And at our church, we used to end the service, talk to someone. It might be awkward, but awkward's awesome.
I like that. I like that a lot. Well, I think number one, we're often afraid we're going to offend them. But the fact that you're willing to invite them to their home, there is really nothing that you'll do that will offend them. They will be so excited and so blessed. Number one, if you're going to invite someone from another culture, you might ask someone who knows a little about that culture. Are there things that I shouldn't cook or something I shouldn't serve? That will help you feel a little more confident. For Muslims, of course, you don't do anything with pork, right, and you don't serve alcohol in your home. Those are two things. So if you have those things, just kind of, especially the alcohol, you might put that away if you invite them to your home. Those are things they're not allowed to drink and eat. So that's one way to feel a little more confident. If you're really nervous, ask someone who knows about that culture to come, or you find someone who speaks Arabic to come to your home and be a guest with these people that you're inviting. It was a really neat thing. I shared this at a meeting one day, and a lady, the husband went home and told the wife what I had said, and about inviting people to your home, about not welcoming people. And the wife said, there's a lady across the street that we've never met, and we have no clue where she's from. But when I see her get in the car, I notice she doesn't look like us. And so she went over there and she invited the lady to come with her family to dinner. She was a little nervous, but they came, they ate, they had a beautiful evening. And when the lady left, she began to weep. And she looked at this host and hostess and she said, I've lived in America 20 years and no one has ever invited me into their home. I never knew what an American home looked like. And tonight I've gotten to come here and I've begged for a friend in America, and you are now my friend. And she went home, and the couple was they sat on the couch, they said, and just wept, because they realized this lady had been here. Now, she hadn't lived in their neighborhood for 20 years, but still, that's what's happening. People are wanting friends. They don't know how we start conversations, and so they don't know what to do. And so I think once you try it, you're going to like it, that whole saying. And we need to figure out, how do we welcome the strangers in our midst? The Bible tells us to do that. So how are we going to do it? And there's a lot of creative ways. And I would love to help anyone who's interested in what they're doing. I spoke to a group of ladies older than myself. I'm pretty old, but they're much older. And I thought, well, this is going to be a big hit when I tell them this story. But I told them that one of the things I've learned is to go to the grocery. And before I go in the grocery, I pray, God, bring someone in my path who is needing to be welcomed, or someone who needs to tell their story or whatever. And I stop and do that before I go in. Now, I don't do it all the time. If you come and watch me, there are days I do the run through the store and go. But I told these ladies that they can pray that, and then they go in the store and they go to the international food aisle. And in some stores, it's a big aisle. In some stores, they might have 3 items, but figure out where it is and look down that aisle and see if there's any internationals or somebody that God wants you to talk to. And then go up, if it's a Muslim lady, go up to the box of couscous, take it off the aisle and look puzzled. And when she walks by you, what you're going to do is say, I don't know what this is. Do you know what this is? And when she says, oh, yes, we eat that at our home, you say, well, how do you cook it? Well, I just told them to do that. And one lady called me after the meeting and she says, I've gone to the grocery twice this week and I haven't met anybody that looks different and nobody knows what couscous is. I said, okay, well, let's try it one more time. And I got on my knees and I really began to pray, oh God, someone in this lady's life. Now, this lady is 75, 78 years old. So she called me again a few weeks later and she says, okay, I did what you told me. I went to the grocery, I went to the international food aisle and I picked up the couscous and I held it up and there came a Muslim lady with a baby. She said, I was just in shock. So she said, I took a deep breath and I did it. I held it. And this Muslim lady looked at her and says, we eat this all the time. I'd love to teach you to cook it. And the lady said, okay, well, maybe I can come to your house sometime and you tell me how to cook it. And the lady said to her, the Muslim lady said, oh no, you come to my house right now and we'll make couscous. This 78-year-old woman left her cart in the grocery aisle, got in a car with this Muslim lady, had no clue who she was, went to her house, ate the couscous, had a beautiful day. She called me back. She said, okay, I did what you said. And she told me the story. She says, now she's coming to my house tomorrow. What do I do? And I said, oh, I am so excited. And she was over the moon excited. And they've got a great relationship now. They visit each other. They go to each other's house. She cooks American food for her, and this Muslim lady cooks her food. And so anyway, I think a little of it is bravery. Are you brave enough to try something different and get out of your norm?